Here comes the boom. And if you've been thinking about living in our Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and you're more inclined to live on the Fort Worth side, well, I've got the perfect community for you. You're going to want to go get pen and paper and write this one down as being in your top 3 places to consider when moving into our area. In fact, you'll probably make it number 1 and put a little star beside it. And this is why. This community prides itself on education, wellness, and neighbor-to-neighbor interaction. There are 9 builders who can build your dream home here. And the hills, the topography, we're not talking flat land, you're talking character within the community. And if you choose a home that's toward the top of the hill, the panoramic views, oh my goodness, breathtaking. This community is growing so fast and projected to grow even more. There's so much expansion out here. It has been considered and projected to be one of our largest communities in the entire country. And now that I have your attention and you're thinking, hey Tracy, what is so fascinating about this community? Well, strap on your seatbelt and we're going to take a drive far west Fort Worth to the community of Walsh Ranch. Are you ready? Walsh Ranch is not a brand new community, but it's still newish. The first homes were built around 2017, and by the end of the development, they are projecting to have about 15,000 homes. Now let's do the math on that, like a word problem. You have 15,000 homes, and let's just say for simplicity, you have 2 people per household. If you do the math on that, then you have 30,000 people who live in Walsh Ranch. Now we know there's some variables. We got some wild cards. We may have a single person, or we may have a family with children, and we know that number can go up astronomically. But for simplicity, 30,000 people, well, that's the size of some cities. Even with that number, this community has made such an effort to make sure that each person can be involved and have a neighbor-to-neighbor experience. I'm so excited to share with you all of those different activities. The access that you have living in Walsh Ranch is definitely going to open your eyes and really cause you to want to take a close look at this community. And I'm not going to get everything there is to do. I'm not a paid spokesperson for Walsh Ranch, but I certainly wanted you to look at all the things to do here. There's so much to do here. I was just absolutely exhausted trying to get this video out to you. Let's take a look at some of the things that you can do in Walsh Ranch. But before we do, let's take a pause for station identification. Hi, I'm Tracy Sorrell with the DFW Life, and I help people just like you sell and buy homes in and around our Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And I like to give people the VIP access of how people really live their lives in our cities, communities, and suburbs. And if you like that behind the scene VIP to see how people really move around, then you want to subscribe below, press the bell, and you'll be notified anytime anything goes down around town, around our DFW Metroplex. Oh, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Now back to Walsh Ranch. I think one of the things that you would notice about Walsh Ranch immediately is how diverse the homes are within the community. And you know how some neighborhoods you have it rather segmented. You have this style over here, then you have this price point over here within one community, where you won't see that in Walsh Ranch. Walsh Ranch offers so many designs and styles. You can be next door to a Craftsman, a Mediterranean, Tudor, Texas vernacular, mid-century modern. Then you have modern farmhouse, transitional, and colonial rival. So it really makes the entire community just look that much better. And you can also pick a traditional 50-foot lot wide to build your home, or you can go as high as a 70-foot wide lot to build your home. Now, let's say you're transitioning out of a big home in the big lot, but you still want to live in Walsh Ranch. Well, no worries. You have the option of choosing to live in a townhome, a cottage, or a villa, and all of those will provide much smaller lot size for you. You know, one of the questions I get very often when people are moving into an area is, hey Tracy, I really prefer the garage to be in the back of the home. Well, in many of our communities, it's just not laid out that way. You can get it a garage in the back or maybe on the side. It really depends on how large your lot is. But for the most part, In our communities, the garages will be front facing. Now, the beauty of it is, depending on where your home is located within Walsh Ranch, garage would typically be in the back just to maintain the aesthetics of the community. And if you do choose a townhome, cottage, or villa, then your garage will be in the back of the home. And I'm pretty excited to share the first two builders with you. And these two builders are one-story homes. Of course, they build two-story, but I wanted to take a moment to showcase the one-story homes. Oftentimes, I do have people who are transitioning and they've decided to downsize, but not downsize their lifestyle. They just don't want two-story home anymore. Now, let's take a look at Highland Homes and Toll Brothers. Highland can build your dream home on either their 50-foot lot or their 60-foot lot, and they have some wonderful floor plans. You can choose one of 11 plans if you want a one-story, and if you want a two-story, then they have 10 plans for you to select. And they do have smaller lots, townhome, and villas, but we'll cover them in a separate video. Well, the reason why I chose this particular home to tour is because it's a one-story. And if you're like many people I know, your knees and your hips would appreciate not having to walk up and down the stairs, because after all, you've been doing that for quite some time. So what you'll like about this particular home, that it is a 4-bedroom home, but they each have their own private bath. So we have en-suites throughout the home. Just because you want a one-story home doesn't mean you want to sacrifice all the fun inside the home. So you're going to really like the media room they have in here. And when we get to the kitchen, I'm going to need you to comment and let me know what you think about this spectacular kitchen. And there's a bonus surprise for you in the primary suite. Let's begin our tour. Depending on your lot premium or any upgrades, you can enter into a Highland home for the low $500,000 up to the higher $700,000 price point. Now let's take a look at our second builder. Toll Brothers is one of Walsh Ranch's luxury builders, and they offer 5 different floor plans. And although that number is few, I'm sure whichever you choose will be splendid. Well, if you know Toll Brothers, you already know the quality of the finish out, the construction. But what I want to share with you is a 1-story here in Walsh Ranch, and they have beautiful 12-foot ceilings. And in Walsh Ranch, Toll Brothers has a total of 5 different plans, 2 of which are 1-story. And I want to share with you the amazing features of this 1-story home. Now, if you want the nice 14-foot ceilings, the 2-story with the winding curved staircase, well, they've got that too. Let's take a look at a 1-story home that Toll Brothers has to offer, and I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you think about the second lounge area and the proximity to the kitchen. This floor plan, the Cisco, offers 4 bedrooms. You can choose 3 or 3.5 baths, and it has a little more than 3,000 square feet. Now, before you get excited, gas up the car and rush over to Walsh Ranch to speak to one of the builder's representative. Let's take a pause for a public service announcement. I get this question quite often, and chances are you might be thinking the same thing, and that is, hey Tracy, if I am building a home or if I'm buying a home that's an inventory home, it's brand new, well, do I really need a realtor? And my answer to you is yes, you do. All right, let's think about it. When you go to the community and you speak with the salesperson, they're warm, they're bubbly, they're inviting, they're great people. But think about it. Those salespeople are employed by the builder, and they have fiduciary duty to represent the builder. Don't you deserve the same level of advocacy that the builder has? I mean, there's a lot more involved with selecting a home than the floor plan, the lot, and your beautiful finishes. Let me just give you a fun example. Well, it's not very fun to this particular client. Let's just say they had an opportunity to have a fun time at the design center. And there's a certain amount of money that's allotted for your design, picking out your finishes, and whatever the builder offers. Well, this person went way out and had a lot of fun to the tune of an extra $75,000 above the allotment. This person has to reconsider financing because when she spent an extra $75,000, now we had a possible appraisal issue. So anyway, we can talk about that at a later point. You know, you're going to grab that consultation 101 link and make sure, above all, that you are properly represented. Now back to the type of homes that you can have and your builder choices in Walsh Ranch. You have the option to to have a custom home, semi-custom, or production home. And a production home means that what you see is what you get. And there may be one builder that would kind of fit that bill and that description. You're going to have more builders who are semi-custom. They're going to give you a lot of options, and within those floor plans, you pick which option you may want. And there are a couple of builders that are customizable. I mean, to the point where you can really flip things around. Maybe you want 2 primary suites on the first floor. You want to add a certain room. They go well beyond the simple bump out and maybe add a few square feet because you decide to change this into the media room. We're talking you can go all out and have something really special and unique. So whether you're thinking of production or custom, hey, they've got it covered for you in Walsh Ranch. Speaking of builders, here are your choices. Here are the 9 builders you can choose to create your dream home. Highland, Drees, Britton, GFO, David Weekley, Harry, Village Homes, Toll Brothers, and High Street. Oh yeah, just so you know, in this video, I'm not going to throw out a lot of prices, a specific price, maybe a range or so, because remember, you can have upgrades in this home, and upgrades will affect your price. So I don't want to give you a price and you say, hey Tracy, you told me I could get this home for this price. You may have included a few upgrades, and remember, you can have the upgrades, you just have to pay for them. But I will try to give you a range, and then sometimes I'm thinking to myself, what's the point? Because they're going to go to the design center and raise that price up by 100,000. So think of price ranges whenever we discuss new construction as your base model. I mean, that's just getting into the front door. But before we look at our other great homes, let's take a look at what you're going to be able to do, enjoy, and explore your access to such a dynamic community here in Walsh Ranch. Well, let's start with the Village Market. Thoughtfully curated selected food, drinks, and sweet treats right here in your community. It's like a little convenience store. And get this, there's even a gas station and an ATM available. The other incredible place that you're going to absolutely appreciate if you decide to live in Walsh Ranch, you have access to makerspace. And this is what I describe neighbors teaching neighbors tangible skills. Wood shop, for example. There's a wood shop where, they can help you design things, learn how to operate the wood shop and the 3D printers, vinyls, laser cutters. There's so much going on right there that neighbors are providing and giving access to their skill to pass along to other neighbors. You've heard of the STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math. Well, they have ratcheted up a bit over here at Walsh Ranch. They have holistic STEAM, STEAM, for science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Oh, and when you thought it couldn't get any better, oh yes, it does. Get your sweat on in this 10,000 square foot athletic club where you can find a variety of classes, machine and free weights, and cardio equipment. And there are no excuses to not get a great quality workout in. Well, for one, the space closes at 10 o'clock. And if you stay at home because you have children, guess what? Childcare is available. Well, in addition to the exercise equipment inside of the athletic club, you also have sports courts, basketball, tennis, and of course, pickleball. I ran across a neighbor and I wanted her to share with you what it's like to live in Walsh Ranch. And she wasn't quite camera ready because she was, after all, going to work out. But what she's told me is that she found herself empty nester, downsizing, and wanting to move closer to her grandchildren. But she didn't necessarily want to be in the thick of the activities with the grandchildren, but she decided to just get a nice home in the same neighborhood where they had so many activities that not only placate to young children, they also enhance her lifestyle. So she was able to enjoy what she wanted to do, although now she's able to live in Walsh Ranch where her grandkids are. So that's a plus. So this is a really great place to live. And remember, stay vigilant because many neighbors will be in their golf carts cruising around the neighborhood. Now let's take a look at the 3rd and 4th builder on our tour here in Walsh Ranch, Perry and Britton Homes. Perry Homes offers 14 one-story plans and 10 two-story plans, and price around the $600,000 to the low $700,000 mark. Let's enjoy the tour. Now, let's take a look at the fourth home, Britton Homes. Welcome to Britton Homes. Britton Homes can be described by some as the luxury division of Perry Homes. This particular model has a little more than 3,500 square feet, but what you'll notice immediately is a beautiful detail in the ceiling and the other architectural feature and design. And yes, those are upgrades. Those are things that you can pay for. If you want them, you can have them, but you will have to budget for that in your design center trip. Now, so this home has 4 bedrooms, 4.5 baths, all en suites. What I think you're going to really appreciate about this one-story home is you have that nice study that you saw at the front of the home, but you also have this wonderful flex space. And you can make this into your media room, your exercise room, whatever you choose. It's a nice extra lounge space for you. Let's continue the tour. One of the features that I really think you will appreciate about this primary suite is the spa-like bath, but that's almost a given. You expect that in a Britton home and many of our luxury homes out here in Walsh Ranch. The thing that I really think that you are going to say, oh goodness, Tracy, this is really a nice floor plan, is the separate closets. So you have actually 2 walk-in closets in this primary bath. And not only with the primary bath having 2 closets, the other thing that I hear people really like is the separation of the vanities. Your own closet and your own vanity, listen, that will save a multitude, or at least preserve a multitude of relationships, just having your separate spaces. Opportunities here in Walsh Ranch to enjoy a Britton home. But if you like this design and you like what you see, let's get together and find out the other places that Britton can build you your dream home. Well, we've covered a lot of ground out here in Walsh Ranch, and by now you have a better perspective of why people are choosing to live their lives here in this community. And there's more to go. But before we take a look at the other styles and builders, remember, press the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Well, we've only uncovered the tip of the iceberg. I know that different people who choose to live their lives in Walsh Ranch, well, they have different lifestyles. Maybe you have a traditional lifestyle where you want a larger lot, but you could be one of those who want something, well, with lower maintenance. We're going to take a look at townhomes, cottages, and villas. And maybe you want a custom home. Oh, we've got you covered too. Well, there's so much more that I want to share with you that I didn't want to cram it all in one video. I created part 2. So go ahead, grab a snack, and come right back.